guys, how's it going? Laura with Garden Answers. So no baby yet. I'm 12 days away from due date as of today. He's holding strong, not wanting to come out quite yet, which is totally fine. So I am just carrying on, getting some chores done today. It's actually quite nice out. I mean, it's 21 degrees and snowy, but the sun is trying to peek through right now, and it's looking really pretty out here. Let me turn the camera around. Look at that. Pretty winter landscape. Hey, Russell. Hey, kitty. You want to come out here, bud? What a good boy. So I'm starting things off out here in the greenhouse today. There's a couple of things I wanted to check on. First of all, I need to water. So it's been probably 2 weeks since I've watered in here, and that is so important in the winter time. And so I guess maybe this could be a reminder for you guys. If you have potted perennials or shrubs, evergreens outside right now in the winter time, it's always a good idea to get them on an every 2 to 3 week watering schedule, even if you have snow on the ground. Like my containers in here obviously are being protected from any moisture that's coming down, so the only moisture they get is what I give them. So I really have to keep them on a schedule. Outside, it's a little bit different depending on what kind of moisture level you're getting. Like, we have snow and there's snow on top of the containers, but nothing's melting. So I still have to go out there and make sure to give them some water because, you know, if the snow's not melting, we're not getting any rain or anything like that, they're still not getting moisture to their roots. So that's one of the chores I'm gonna do today. And I don't have an enormous amount in here, not compared to last year anyway. I've got plans for most all of this stuff. I'm so excited. But you can see that, you know, obviously it's dormant. Some gorgeous dogwoods, butterfly bushes, just a kind of a selection of shrubs. And then over on this side, I don't really have much on the tables, but I've got a bunch of hostas down here, which I'm super excited to plant next year. And there's also some heucheras, which are a semi-evergreen, so they actually still have some really pretty foliage. Isn't that gorgeous? These are called Appletini. There. So the other things I have in here, which this is one of the other things I wanted to do today, I've got some beets in that container, cilantro and carrots. You can see that they're all dried down big time. I've kind of been neglecting them, but they have been done for a while because it's still pretty cold in this greenhouse. So the cilantro I can clean out, and then I can harvest the beets and the carrots. And then in this container right here, which is quite large, I had peas growing in it. They did really, really well. I cleaned them out, and I think I want to bury a heat cable and start some greens. The thing I did not anticipate is that the soil in that container, and really in all of these, is frozen. So I want to go get a thermometer just out of curiosity to see how cold it is in this greenhouse, because it's not really a greenhouse, it's a cold frame. You guys, it's like a glorified cold frame. It's worked really great for what we need it for, but I think if I can figure out what temperature it is currently in here, then I can figure out if putting a heat cable in there into the soil and starting some greens is even worth it. Usually the heat cable will bring up the soil temperature like 20-25 degrees, which is significant. So we'll see. I'm gonna go get that thermometer and we'll check it out. Here it is. I actually don't know if that thermometer is working because it said it's 30 degrees. I guess it was inside the barn, so maybe that's accurate. And it's 21 outside. I don't know. We'll let it sit in here for a little while and acclimate to the temperature in here and then get a proper reading. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do then is string out a hose and get it in here and get everything watered. Alright, so everything is watered in here now. So now I want to check the thermometer and see where we're at. It says we're right at 40 in here, which it feels like we're pretty darn close. It's really pleasant out here. And if it can stay that warm in here on a day that's kind of overcast, like the sun is trying to peek through, but it is fairly gray out. When it's sunny, it gets a lot warmer in here, even in the wintertime. I think it'll be okay to start some really cold hardy greens, like some really cold hardy spinach, especially if I have a soil heat cable in that container. And you guys might think I'm crazy, but check it out. So I just set up a little heater to thaw out the soil. I'm just so desperate to be growing something right now. And possibly I have it too close to the door. Maybe I should move it back a little bit. But it did get quite cold last night. It's not too bad. It's just a little bit frozen when you get down an inch or so. So hopefully at least by the end of the day I'll be able to plant something in here. We'll see. All I need to do is get down about 6 inches because that's where the soil heat cable needs to go. In fact, I need to go pick one up at the garden center here when I'm done watering everything else. So now that I have everything in the greenhouse watered, I'm gonna go grab a watering can and water all of my exterior pots around the house that have evergreens and perennials in them. I'm trying to think of how many pots I actually have perennials and shrubs in out there. I think it's, let's see. I think I have 22 out there that have either evergreens or a vine, like a clematis, or perennials. So I don't give them a ton of water, I just give them kind of enough to kind of wet their whistle, wet their roots just a little bit, just to make sure that they don't freeze dry. So it's usually a pretty quick process. And I'm using my 7-liter watering can. So I looked up how much that weighs a while ago. It weighs 15 pounds full because I'm not supposed to be lifting over 20 right now. So it works out perfect. It's not quite as quick as when I can carry 2 bigger watering cans around or drag a hose. That goes a lot faster, obviously, but it's not too bad. Got some heucheras in these containers. So obviously this grass isn't annual. It was a purple fountain grass. So that won't be coming back. So I don't need to worry about saturating this pot fully. One of the biggest chores about watering in the wintertime are the hoses. Keeping your hoses clear and free of water so they don't freeze up. So after I get done watering, I have to make sure to get all of the water out so that next time when I come and hook it up, we don't have any issues. So what I do is I've got it all in the greenhouse here, and I've got the hose wand, which is right down there, opened up. And so I'm just gonna start on one end and start coiling it up, and I'll do it kind of lifting the hose up at the same time so all the water is running down the hose as I go out the other end. It definitely feels warmer than 40 degrees in here now after my workout with that dang hose. So another thing I'm working on today is trying to figure out one of our bigger projects that we're hoping to be able to accomplish this next summer. You know, every single winter it's always fun to dream and plan and kind of think about some of the bigger things that you want to accomplish out in your yard. There's always a lot of little things that crop up, but if you guys remember last year we did a lot of things. We had our electrical lines buried. We had to have some water lines rerun and kind of repaired. We also had our gravel driveway re-graveled. Had a couple of sick trees removed, had a concrete weir removed, a bunch of unfun stuff to pay for, to be honest with you. They're always projects that you're so glad to have done, and they look nice when they're done, but you know, it's not like planting a bunch of pretty flowers or putting in a bunch of new pots or trees or, you know, fun stuff like that. So we're hoping that this year we can do more things like that. So I'm going to turn the camera around and explain to you one of the projects that we're hoping to do. So I'm standing kind of right in the entrance of our property here, and you can see our front fence line starts right where this pot is and then spans all the way to that second shorter electrical pole. So you can see the tall one here. There's one right beyond it. That's where the corner of our property is. What we would really love to do is outfit this whole front fence with hay racks full of flowers. Wouldn't that be absolutely stunning? To drive up, so you go through here, and this is the other side of our driveway, right here, so we'd probably need a hay rack on this fence too, so it looks uniform. And we are having a little fence built around the dumpster, so you won't see that anymore, so ignore it right now. But wouldn't that look beautiful to be driving up and just see a mass of color just hanging off that fence? They are like a coated metal. They're really heavy duty. They're lined with a really thick cocoa fiber. I really like them because plants seem to be really happy in them. Here in our area anyway, I would love to use those. I don't know if it's gonna be possible. We might have to DIY this. Aaron actually messed around and kind of made a prototype out of hog panels, like bending hog panels and kind of forming them around the top of the fence and then using zip ties. And honestly, I mean, they don't look, you know, obviously that great right in the beginning, but the flowers that we'd use would grow so fast that it would cover them. You probably wouldn't even see them at all because we most likely will be using Supertunias, a lot of Supertunias up here because it gets full on sun. Like there's no mercy sun right out here, and wind, and Supertunias just do really well in that kind of condition. So we would love to start here, go to the first electrical pole, and then I think we're gonna talk with our neighbors and see if they wouldn't mind us planting a few things right outside our fence, just to kind of mask the telephone poles, because right here it's just pasture and they're really great. Like they have kept this up really nice up to our fence, like from here to here so we don't deal with any really tall weeds. So they've been really great to work with. Anyway, so we're gonna talk with them about that. And then today I'm going to count how many openings I've got, and then I'm gonna measure them all to see if it's something that's even feasibly possible. So there are my supplies. I've got my tape measure, a little notepad, and my pencil, and I'm just gonna set to work getting all of the information gathered. So here's what I've got in my chicken scratch here. So we've got the west side here, and that's the east side. And I'm so thankful that Aaron always encourages me strongly to measure everything before I haul off and buy stuff, because nothing ever really measures up equally. So on the east side, I've got 63 inches. So to fill this little fence section here, I need something close to a 63-inch basket. And then on the west side over here, this pot covers up part of this section here. So I need one 44-inch or close to it on this little section. This section is 80 inches. And then all the rest of these, so all the rest, there's 18 of them, 18 openings, are all about 91 to 92 inches wide. So I don't know why there's a discrepancy right here, and that one's 80 and that one's, these are all 11 inches wider. Who knows? But it's always a good thing to measure and figure out exactly what you need before you figure everything out. So now that I've got all of the information here, I can go into the website tonight, kind of figure out what we will need, what kind of supplies, how many plants it's gonna take, and then we can go from there. But I just thought I would tell you guys about that. I don't know if it's gonna happen for sure. It may or may not. But how exciting and how pretty if it does. So now I think I'm gonna head down to the garden center and pick up a soil heat cable, some seeds, and some new houseplants, because January calls for new houseplants, I think. So I'm taking a little break for lunch. Leftover coconut chicken curry that I made last night, and some garlic naan. Yum. So we're heading down to the garden center now, and Aaron decided to come with me. Oh, it's time to change the chalkboard. The snowflakes in the window look pretty. And it looks like spring setup has begun. I really like these metal planters, those are cool. Oh, that's nice, that's a manageable size, isn't it?
They just help us put together.
I like the shape from the side a lot. Like a cradle, like a manger.
Yeah.
Cool. So I need like the most winter hardy spinach seed that we have. Drunken woman frizzy-headed lettuce. Who can resist her? She's a feisty mint green butterhead with red ruffled tips. Funny. Bloomsdale. Excellent cold hardiness. Perfect. And then here are the warming cables. So there's a 6-foot size. See it right there. There's, looks like 12 foot, 24 foot, 36, I'm guessing, and 48. I think for my purposes, all I need is a 6-foot cable. Aren't those cool? So it's an iron grid work with terracotta pots, just little ones. Wouldn't those look cute with succulents, like just string of pearls hanging out of all of them? I think would be really cute. So I'm gonna pick out a couple of new houseplants to take home too. This is a nice collection of houseplants. So all of these will handle the area I think I'm gonna be putting them. It's kind of a part sun, part shade area. So I've got a string of pearls that is absolutely gorgeous and huge. Look at this. And these can handle lower light. Then I've got a fiddle leaf fig. There's an ivy there, a fern, and a staghorn fern there. And then I've got a collection of terracotta pots. So just multiple sizes, just in case I don't have the right sizes at home. I probably do, but you can never have too many. And a stack of saucers. And these are all the glazed on the inside so that no water can soak through and ruin any surface that I've got them on. And then I've got my seed here and the heat cable. So I think I'm ready to go back home, get to work. All right, let's see how everything's going in the greenhouse here. See if the soil has thawed out any. Look at that. It says it's risen to 50. Still a little frozen in there, not terrible. I think I'm gonna go grab a tool and some hot water and a watering can and see if we can't break the soil up a little bit. All right, I've got my garden fork. And then this is just hot water out of the tap from inside. See if we can't get this broke up. So I think the 6-foot cable is going to work out pretty well. I think it's going to cover a circle just right about like that. And that way it can kind of bleed, the heat can bleed out toward the middle and toward the outside. You're not supposed to put it up against wood or plastic, which this is a type of plastic, so I think it'll be perfect. So the heat cable has a built-in thermostat that will automatically turn on when the soil temp is below 74, which means it'll be on pretty much all the time right now. And I didn't know you could use it indoors. It says it's perfect for indoors. I actually can't believe that that worked. I got the soil to thaw out by using, I used 2 watering cans full of hot water, and then I just used my garden fork and just kind of worked it up, and I was able to get that soil heating cable buried, and that should keep the soil about 20 to 25 degrees warmer than the actual temperature outside, which right now it says it's close to 50, or it says it is 50. It's close to it in here in the greenhouse right now. So that should be plenty warm enough to start the spinach seeds. Again, that was Bloomsdale. Let me grab the sack. Bloomsdale spinach was the variety, which is a really cold tolerant variety. So I'm hoping, I mean, it's risky. It's January. It's like the very beginning of January. So if I get, you know, something to germinate and something to grow, it's fun. It's just fun to have something going on. So whether or not I get anything or whether or not I stay on it after the baby's born, we'll see what happens. So the last thing I'm going to do for this particular project is put a piece of Harvest Guard over the top. So that'll just help maintain a little bit more heat around the soil. I mean, I figure whatever I can give it right now will benefit it. So I'm just going to lay this over the top, and since this greenhouse is shut and there's no wind or anything in here, I won't really have to weigh it down with anything. I'm just going to kind of just drape it. So that's it for my outside chores for today as far as what I wanted to get done. Of course, there's tons of other things I see that I could be doing, but I want to go inside where it's warm and pot up those houseplants. You gonna come inside with me, buddy? No? Okay. Okay, I've got all of my houseplants here in the kitchen. I decided to repot them right here on the kitchen island because this is where they're all gonna stay downstairs. I didn't want to haul them upstairs to the plant room just to haul them right back down. So I've got my stack of terracotta pots. I brought a couple of them from upstairs. There's my saucers and my soil, and then my plants. So I'm just gonna get these all potted up and then I'll show you where they're gonna go. Pretty good. So the string of pearls I actually did not pot in this container. You can see if you get close, it's still in its plastic pot right there because my cactus mix was out in the barn. I thought I had some in the house, but I didn't, and it's all frozen. So I can't pot it quite yet, but it looks just great in that pot. I do need to grab a larger saucer for it, but this one will work for now. There's the fig and ivy, the plumosa fern, and the staghorn fern. So before I go place all of these where I'm thinking I want them, I'm gonna run out and grab some moss so I can top dress this soil. Basically, I just want to start bringing some more green into the house and make it feel more springy in here. So this is one of my favorite mosses to use. It is a super moss brand called Mood Moss, and it comes out in these great big chunks that maintain their color really nicely. And I just like it because when you put them in, it's a little bit more dynamic, like it doesn't just lay flat on the soil, so it kind of gives just a little bit more texture, and I really like that. Look how pretty that is. So I'm gonna go around all 4 of these with moss. So this is where I wanna start incorporating those plants. So I have 5 right now to add up in there, and we'll see what it looks like. I will probably keep the lamps because I do like the color. This is the fireplace in the old part of our house in the front room. So this right here is our entryway, staircase, and front door. And then this is just a smaller front room. Oh, Aaron got me these for Christmas. These little leather chairs, aren't they the cutest? I need to get some pillows and blankets for them, but I think they're really sweet in front of the fireplace. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna start focusing on this room and get the walls painted. So excited. So I'm gonna bring all the plants up here and arrange them on the mantle. So I think the mantle is shaping up really nicely, and you can see that I incorporated a bunch of plants that I already had. So let me start on the left here. I've got an aloe right there, aloe vera. This is the Greer ivy. Then we've got the staghorn fern, and there's a little crassula down here that I had, and an agave that I had, and the myrrh, which I may or may not leave. I think it kind of breaks it up and makes it look pretty. The fig, there's a little cacti right there, the string of pearls, the plumosa fern tucked in back there. And then I started these cacti from cuttings over a year ago in these little enclosed glass containers. This one actually was just one paddle, and it's pushed another one. It's very exciting. I've been trying to mess with the camera to get the lighting to look right, but it's looking really yellow in here, but it just is. There's a lot of yellow in the brick. Then the wall color that's in here is kind of a buttery yellow, and I mean, I'm just kind of surrounded by it here. I think I would like to do some kind of like, I don't know, maybe a jewel tone green or grassy green or something like that in here. And then incorporate a lot more cacti and succulents. This is a really good room because this window right here is southern exposure, or no, this one's western and this is southern right here. So a lot of light pours in through these windows. So as far as care goes on these, you know, of course I'm using a bunch of different types of plants. For all the regular plants like the ferns and the ivy, what else? The fig, and probably the string of pearls. I'll be watering those about once a week in here. And then for the other cacti and succulents that I have, it'll probably be every 10 to 14 days. So really easy care, and all of these saucers are glazed, so I don't have to worry about them ruining the wood surface, and that is so important. I have ruined surfaces before just because I don't think about the fact that the water still leaches through terracotta if it's not glazed on the inside of that saucer. So anyway, everything should be safe and sound up there on the mantle, and I just get really excited whenever I bring in something new and green that makes a room feel warm and alive. It just, I don't know, it makes me want to just keep going and keep filling rooms with things like this that just bring that element. And I think now that I'm done with the baby's room, I feel like I can move on to another room and tackle that one. So I think this is probably the room I'm going to be working on for a while. So I'll be doing paint and probably just a piece or two of furniture, and then just enough to kind of fill in the big gaps, and then I will work on little gaps as the years go, just because I like to pick things up as I go. Like as my mom and I go antique shopping, or Aaron and I go travel somewhere, it's fun just to spot a piece and kind of think, oh, that would look really pretty in that room, and not just fill it up all at once just with stuff just because. So that's kind of how I'm gonna approach decorating this house. It's gonna take forever. We came from a lot smaller of a home, and I'm so thankful to have this space. We've utilized it so much for filming and for projects that we're doing. So anyway, the only thing I have left to do today is I'm gonna go blow off all the sidewalks. I have a friend coming for coffee tonight, so we're gonna hang out, and she's a huge gardener, so we're gonna be we're gonna be talking gardening plans, so it's gonna be a really fun night. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and hopefully soon I will have some baby news for you. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.